Hello,
Oh, hello.
I'm Sammy,
And I'm Steve.
and you're listening to Rose Plate Special, the most dramatic, penguin dreamingest, power suitingest, 20K ringingest recap podcast of The Bachelor ever.
Ever.
And I really threw some random shit together in that one.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, those are all deep cuts because I just watched the episode. Sorry it took so long. Steve decided to go to Denver and get lost in one-way streets in that scary airport.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really my decision, but I
No.
had to go where work points. But yeah, Denver Airport, very weird. Obviously, there's all
Yeah.
the cool conspiracy theories. Love the giant horse statue. I
Mhm.
love how it's kind of in a tent. It looks like a circus tent, which is
Hmm.
weird. I also like how it's under construction now, so it's actually even more difficult to navigate.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
And then a thing I noticed for the first time on this trip to Denver was when you're leaving the airport, there's all these like they look like just gigantic logs that are just kind of like on an angle sticking out of the ground for some reason,
Huh.
and I don't know what that's for.
Well, I think that just adds to the mystery, doesn't it?
It does, it does. But
Yeah.
if for some reason there's some sort of invasion and the invading force has cavalry, boy, are they in trouble because they're not going to be able to get through.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's
No
so
horses.
interesting. I can't remember the last time I went to the Denver airport, but I do remember what I ate there.
They got a lot of food. They
I
got
had
that
like
going for
I
sure.
had like a really nice like oatmeal or something, and it was really good. I was like, "Wow, all
Yeah.
right, Denver Airport." Yeah.
I gotta say, I fuck with Denver. It's a fun city. I I don't understand the one-way streets. It
Yeah.
also it, like, really encourages jaywalking for me
Yes.
because
So
yeah,
does everybody jaywalks. Okay, this was my impression. Okay, literally, I've only been to Denver once, so I'm not going to speak in like universal terms. But I was there when I was like in high school. I think I was 14, and I was doing like this trip. It was like a church trip, but it wasn't like that kind of mission trip.
yeah.
Anyway, and we were like volunteering at a preschool. I don't know, it was weird, but like the people were cool and like
Mhm.
everybody was super nice and whatever. But we'd like go do something during the day and then we would at night like we'd get to go do stuff like well our first day in town we like went to Red Rocks amphitheater and I like ran all the way to the top and then thought I was gonna die the first
Yeah, that's
day
a
in
little
Denver.
intense.
Bad idea. I was like, oh. But we did a lot of like hiking. We went to like an outdoor mall. I don't know. We did
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like we kind of I think we went to the zoo. I don't remember. But
Mhm.
we did a bunch of like random things. And but I remember I was driving around with like the parents who came to chaperone us and they were commenting on all of the one-way streets and also like yeah, everybody was jaywalking and that's what I remembered. And
Yeah.
this was in the summer. This was like I don't know, June, July, something like that. And when we got home, I was like the air is so wet because it's just so dry. And those are like my memories from Denver. That's it. I would love to go back.
Yeah,
Um
it's a fun
but
time.
I
It's a
was
fun
like, but
time.
yeah, so when you told me you were there, I was like, "Oh, enjoy all the one-way streets." And I was like, I wonder if my 14-year-old perception of there's a lot of one-way streets in Denver is really like there's more there than other cities.
No,
But I
I'm
remember the
so glad you
drivers
said that to
commenting
me.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I like the whole time I was there, I was just like, "What the hell is going on here? Why is every street a one way?" And then
Yeah.
and then literally you were like, "Try the one way streets." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not an insane person. This is like
Okay,
someone
cool. Yeah,
else's."
I mean, it's like we validated each other because I was
Yeah,
like, "Aren't
totally.
there a lot of one-way streets?" And you're like, "There are." And I was like, "Okay, so my 20-year-old memory can like stay intact." So that's a great feeling that I'm not
Yeah.
losing my mind. So
Had a
anyway, so
lovely time. The one
yeah.
thing I will say though is I am a sensitive little baby and I just had like a low grade headache the whole time. I could not handle the
Oh, the
altitude.
altitude, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
they say it
whatever.
takes a few days to acclimate. Did you hydrate sufficiently?
No, I never hydrate
See, there you
sufficiently.
go. That's
Never. That's
probably why
why.
you didn't acclimate is because you gotta hydrate. That was another thing that they told us when we were there. They're like, "You think you need less water than you do," and they just, like, kept forcing us to drink a lot of water on the whole
Yeah,
trip,
yeah.
and I remember, like, and this was when I was, like, really hormonal, and, like,
Mhm.
I had just, like, nailed down my skincare routine, and I never had, like, bad acne or anything. Like, I always had, like, decent skin, but of course I had, like, pimples as a, kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was so frustrated because I was like, I finally got, like, my routine down, and it was all out the window when I was there. It was like none of the skincare. It was all like Stridex and all that
Oh,
stuff. So
yeah.
it's like
Hell yeah.
way too
Stridex pads.
drying, and then like the shampoo I brought just made my hair feel like straw because it was like, it just wasn't built for the weather. So that was like a really interesting experience to be somewhere like that, like
Yeah.
in puberty age. Also, I need to tell a quick. Are you familiar with Kid Logic? I feel like that was,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, where you're like, it's like you think something says zing when it's crossing, and then
Mhm.
until someone tells you that means crossing, you go, "Oh, I had no idea," right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, One of my Kid Logic moments was, I don't it wasn't, maybe it was Stridex brand, I can't remember. It was like one of the acne brands, and they had like
Sure.
a foaming cleanser, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
said like over 130 uses, and I went, "Wow, this is so versatile. It can really do everything."
Like, it's that, Doctor What's his face stuff that they sell at, like, Whole Foods, or you know what I'm
Like
talking
Dr.
about? The
Bronner.
Dr. Bronner, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the guy.
I was
It's
like
like,
I
"You
was
could
like
use it as toothpaste." Like, why would I wanna use soap as
I
toothpaste?
was like, "Wow, what can it all do?" I didn't realize it meant, like, you can use it this one way
Yeah,
130 times. Like, I was like, "Wow, I wonder what else people use this for."
right?
The 129 ways I'm not thinking of.
They gotta do it like Bronner's, just the entire like, their whole
Yeah.
graphic design is just, "Let me list everything it does."
Yeah, I was, like, so surprised. Anyway, so that's one of my favorite Kid Logic moments.
I
Also,
love
when I
that for
was a
you.
kid, we had, like, a chipmunk crossing sign. My parents will probably remember this, Mom, when you're listening. And they had this little plaque in the backyard that said "Chipmunk Crossing," and I saw some chipmunks, and I went, "Oh, they're going over there now," and I moved the sign. I was like, "That's where the chipmunk crossing should be."
Oh my god.
So anyway, you got any Kid Logic stories?
No, I can't think of
You're like,
anything off the
"I was
top of my head.
totally mentally sound,
Yeah,
Sammy."
I was perfect and infallible as a child. No,
Yeah,
I was
obviously.
stupid, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I shouldn't say I was a stupid kid. I was a precocious child who had too much energy, and my mom told me that I it was like I was constantly trying to get kidnapped. So, like, my favorite thing to do when I was, like, 2, 3 years old is, like, I knew my full name and address, so I would, like, run away from my mom at the grocery store and just tell strangers my full name and address because I was so proud of myself,
Wow,
obviously.
good job. Did you go
Yeah.
to Safety City?
No, I didn't go to Safety City, but I will say, you know how, like, sometimes used to see, you don't see this anymore, but you used to see kids on leashes? I was a kid on a
Mhm.
leash. I had to be
You
on a
had a
leash.
leash?
Of course I had a leash. Are you kidding me? Come on. I'm the most, like, needs a leash kid slash
So
adult. I
Oh
need a
my
leash now. Like,
god.
I
Oh
can't, I
my
just wander
god.
off.
Oh my god. I don't think I ever have met anybody as an adult who at least admitted to being a kid on a
Oh, yeah.
leash.
Total leash kid. There's photos of
That's
me.
amazing. I never had a leash for the record. I'm sure you're all surprised. Except I did get lost one time. I got lost in the mall. My mom was like, we were at a department store, and she was like, and she'll like call me after this and be like, that's not how it happened, but this is what I remember. She was like, I'll be right over there, like,
Mhm.
like, I didn't wanna go, I was, like, looking in an aisle, and I was, like, still interested in whatever I was looking at,
Yeah.
textiles or what have you, and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna go over here." It's literally, like, the aisle next to yours, and I was probably, like,
Mhm.
6 or 7 or whatever, and she's like, "So just go to that aisle when you're done." And I was like, "Got it," and, like, for some reason, I don't know, I think I, like, went the opposite direction or something, and so I look and she's not there, and then
Mhm.
I wasn't smart. I got smart as I got older, and I learned not to go, "Mom, mom," because that's when they pick you up.
Yeah, that's when they get you.
That's when they get you. Like, so as I got older, I was like, if I can't find my mom right away, don't panic. Act like you're looking for something.
Yeah.
Don't say mom, mom, because then
No,
someone's
don't
gonna
do
grab
that.
you. No, I told myself that because I learned.
Yeah.
But I was like, Mom, mom, where are you? Because I was like, she was supposed to be right here. And I think I just went the opposite direction. Like, she was right next to me.
Yeah,
It's not like
but you
she
just went
left
yeah.
me alone. This was like a Boston store or something like this. One of the end caps. And like, security picked me up and they were like, "Are you looking for your mom?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I wasn't like upset either. I don't remember being
Mhm.
upset. I was just like confused because I was like, she was supposed to be right there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, she got herself lost. That's like my logic,
Oh,
right?
totally, right?
And
Yeah.
then they brought me, I think,
Classic
into like
mom.
a security room where I believe that I was able to like look at surveillance cameras and stuff, which was kind of cool.
Ooh, that's
I know I
cool.
got a balloon and I think I got a toy from the Disney store that I was still holding. It was like an Alice in
Wow.
Wonderland toy.
And you get a
Um,
balloon from them? I should get
I think
lost
they
in a
gave me a
store.
balloon. I don't know. Mom confirm, and I will follow up with everybody after you watch this episode. But I was having a great time. I
Mhm.
wasn't worried. I was having a great time. My mom's like panicking, and she's like, "You're making me look bad," and I'm like, "Sorry," like
No.
directionally challenged, I guess. But yeah, so then after that, if we were like at a grocery store or something and we like split up, I just knew I was like, just walk with purpose and don't act like you need anything. And you're gonna find her because it's not like she left. And then
Mhm.
you're not gonna get like pulled, by someone who's like, "Are you lost, little girl?" Um,
No.
and sometimes I still wonder if people think I'm gonna be a little girl lost in a store, but I'm here now and
That's
we've
right.
been found and we actually don't have a lot of time and I'm like extending this. By the way, everyone, so we're gonna talk about week 3. We're gonna have to make it kind of short because I have a virtual conference. Okay. And it's
Fancy
really
lady.
important. If we go a little over, it's fine. And but I wanted to let you all know that the Jilly box is probably coming by next week. And should I spoil one of the weird things that we might uncover in this episode, or should they wait till the next episode to find out?
Oh, why don't we'll just leave 'em with a cliffhanger, like, there's something weird. I don't even wanna know what it is. I wanna be
Okay.
shocked when I see it.
Let's just say I got a very cryptic message from Jilly that was like, "There's something coming and it might not be good.
What?
But we're giving you a refund preemptively,
Oh my god.
but the box has already shipped. So we
That's
can't do anything
crazy.
about it. So you're gonna have to see what happens when you open it." And I was
The
like,
first Bachelor Nation subscription box to feature measles. Like, what could it possibly
not
be?
measles, completely harmless,
Okay. Not
just
measles.
no, completely harmless, completely safe, but a little weird. Maybe. Could be nothing, could be
Could be nothing.
something.
Okay. I'm very excited for this.
It's like so yeah, I'll just leave it there and just let you know, and I've already decided what I'm gonna spend my Jilly bucks on, but we're gonna talk about Grant bucks today. But
Oh,
first,
Grant bucks.
we
Yeah.
start we start off okay, this is my favorite. So everyone's eating breakfast, right? And they're, like, talking about dreams, and Chloe's like, "I slept like a baby. I didn't have any dreams." Parisa goes, "I had a dream that my teeth got ripped out."
She's
I really like
amazing.
Parisa. I
Yeah.
think she could be, like, a Gabby.
Mhm.
No one can be Gabby.
Nobody can be Gabby, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I've been seeing so many gaggy, like, hopecore videos on my
Oh, yeah, that's
TikTok.
like my entire algorithm.
I know, I'm like, "Wow, it's all gaggy all the
"It's
time."
3 p.m. I just had lunch. I'm lethargic." That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's so good.
"Send me the Google Slides."
She's amazing. She
She's
really is,
incredible.
like,
Yeah.
she's one of the best people to come out of Bachelor Nation, if not the best person to come out of Bachelor
Oh, yeah.
Nation ever. Like, everything she does
No.
is gold. We will, cover Traders, as a special
Mhm.
episode. Anyway, so yeah, but Parisa is like, she's going for it. Like she's getting there, but everyone just like skipped over that. She's like, "I had a dream my teeth fell out." And then Natalie's like, "Well, I had a dream that a penguin imprinted on me." And then we became best friends. And then it was just me and the penguin. And
Which is also weird, but it's like,
I
I
was
don't
like,
know,
"What the hell?"
if I was a conventionally attractive, like, 23-year-old woman, I would totally have, like, penguin imprinting dreams. Like, that makes
I've,
sense, but
like,
it's like,
literally
"Oh, my
never had a
teeth fell out."
penguin imprinting dream. You know what's funny is last night I was talking about this because I was like, how there's horse girls?
Yeah.
I was like, but in the 90s, there were also, like, dolphin girls and, like, orca girls, and they were
Mhm.
different, and then there were penguin girls, and then there was another one that I brought up. Oh, panda girls.
Yeah.
I was like, there were these girls, and I said, but I was weird because I was just like, dog. I was just dog.
I like dogs.
I was like, "I like dog," and I was like, "Goat is a dog. Goat equals dog. Seal equals dog. Otter equals dog.
Yeah, those are all
Those are
dog
all
adjacent.
dogs." Yeah,
Yeah,
those are all
yeah.
dogs, and so it's just funny, but because I was watching a video of pandas in captivity and how they clearly don't wanna leave ever.
No.
They're just really enjoying their lives in there.
It's hard out there. I mean, imagine
Yeah.
if, like, you didn't have to worry about life and someone's just like, "Stay at the Ritz-Carlton forever." Sure.
I
Yeah.
heard so this was like it was like a panda core, video or whatever. And there was like there was a comment that like some panda got released into the wild and came back 3 times. and was
Wow.
like, "I wanna live in" I don't know if that's true,
Just
but it was like, "I wanna live in captivity."
I please take me in. Yeah, that's how I would be. Are you kidding me? Come
Yeah,
on.
but yeah, I was never like I remember, like, the dolphin girls, the orca girls, like, yeah, the penguin
Mhm.
girls, the panda girls, the horse girls, but, yeah,
No.
I was just dog, and so like, Ken is just beach, I was just dog, that's how it was. So, obviously, I think Natalie was a penguin girl, and maybe,
Mhm.
like Sheena, she, bought like, adopted a penguin for somebody and, like, got it in their
Yeah.
name. She seems like I if okay, if Natalie didn't ever do that, like, go to the zoo and, like, do the, like, sponsor a penguin thing, I would be
Yeah.
so surprised. I
Oh,
feel like
totally.
dollars to donuts, Natalie's done that. Natalie, let us know. But we do this group date, and it's like this was interesting because I was kind of, like, getting ready to be mad about this date, and then I, like, wasn't mad about it.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, I thought they were gonna be like, "You don't know anything about math." And then there was like, "Who can tell the most jokes?" And I was like, "Oh, well, that doesn't bother me."
Yeah, it was funny though because yeah, I thought the same thing. She's like, "You know what women don't know anything about? Finance.
Finance. And
Let
then
me
they were
tell
like
you."
yeah, and then they were just like, "How much should he spend on a ring?" And I was like, $20,000?
I
Like,
know.
what?
That's a Toyota Corolla. That's
Yeah.
not a ring. Come on. Where do I get $20,000 from? I don't
Yeah,
think
my
so.
ring cost $150.
See? That's good. That's
I
good.
mean, we're gonna design one together, like, that's
Mhm.
cool, before our Kiss mini golf extravaganza, whenever that is.
Mhm.
But, like, I was like, "Yeah, but I would expect it to be, I don't know, like, maybe 5, like, 6, maybe,
Sure.
I
That
don't
sounds
know.
fine. I
That
don't
sounds
know.
fine, like,
Whatever's reasonable.
for custom, like,
Mhm.
maybe a little more than that." But
No.
I was like, "20? Like,
20
20?
is a lot. That's
That
a
seems
lot
like
of
so much."
money.
I was like, "Am I out of touch?" Like, I don't know. To me, like,
Yeah.
20 seems like a lot of money.
Mhm.
So that was surprising, but anyway, I hate Hannah Berner. Sorry.
Is
Um,
that the comedian lady?
yeah,
Okay.
let's use that term really loosely because she definitely allegedly steals jokes. Anyway,
Oh,
sorry.
I
She's
didn't
from
I
Summer
don't
House. Didn't
Oh,
you
yeah,
watch
yeah,
Summer
yeah.
House?
She is on Summer House. No,
Okay.
I recognized her from that, and then I've seen her on, like, just random internet things, but I don't know. I don't know about her comedic career. I
Oh,
think I've
she
just
does.
seen, like, podcast clips of her talking to people, like,
Exactly,
that's pretty much
exactly.
it.
Well, that's
Uh,
she okay, anyway, sorry.
a
She
quick
grinds my
question
gears.
here. I have a question about the current season, The Bachelor, which is something that we have speculated on, and now I feel like it's really, coming to fruition. Is The Bachelor poor now? Did dad lose his job? What's going
Mm,
on? We haven't traveled anywhere. All the dates feel like haphazardly thrown together. It's very pandemic era Bachelor, along with the news that The Bachelorette has been indefinitely postponed. Like, what's going on
what?
here?
I didn't hear
Yeah.
about that.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh.
okay,
Yeah.
these well, they are going to Madrid next week, so I'll give them
Okay.
that, it is week 3. Sometimes they start traveling on week 2, but it is week 3. So,
Yeah, and we're not traveling till week 4?
yeah,
Come
that's
on.
true. Like, by week 3, you're usually going somewhere, and I mean, they did fly to Vegas on a PJ, right? Like, that is one thing that they
Well, for, like,
did
one
for
one-on-one,
one
but from
person.
LA,
Mhm.
I mean,
Not
that's just
far.
like
But, I
yeah.
mean, not like I would get on a plane that small right now.
Yeah, but,
No,
like,
thanks.
Bachelor always feels old money rich to me, like, they just have this
Yeah.
blank check budget, and then I mean, just staying in the mansion for the first 3 weeks and then one-on-one date in a PJ, that's very, nouveau riche to me, this is not the
Yeah.
Bachelor I know. I want him just throwing around money
Mm.
like it's, Arrested Development. "How much could a banana cost? $10. I'm the Bachelor."
Wasn't it $20?
Something like that,
Isn't that
I
the
don't know.
quote? Anyway,
Uh,
sorry.
Screwed it up, but the point is, it's
Wait, no, maybe
weird.
now I need to look it up.
Mhm. Oh, for once in my life, let me be right and Sammy's wrong.
You
Please,
you could be
please
right.
God.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Oh, you're right. She says, "It's 1 banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10?" Oh, you're right. I was
Yeah,
like,
clip
for
this
some reason,
one
my
for
brain said
TikToks. First time I'm
you're
right,
like,
what's up?
"Sammy was so wrong.
Yeah,
Today, Sammy was right." You're gonna write in your diary tonight, "Sammy got a quote wrong. I was
yeah,
such a winner." To be fair, I was like, "Isn't it that?" And then I was like, "I'm not confident."
yeah.
I wasn't
Today
like,
for the first time,
I'm
I
positive.
was smart and not just loud.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Mm,
that was at 19 minutes. Sammy was
okay.
wrong.
Yep.
So I wrote it down. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, so maybe they need Grant's help with finance. Maybe the
Yeah,
whole group date was a ruse for them to gather financial information to see how they could make more money for the show.
yeah. I also
Maybe.
wanna know more about, like, Grant's like, actual job? Like, is he just really just is he sitting around in his underwear day trading? Because it's
That's
not sustainable, I'm sorry.
that's I got an impression like that because it kind of sounded like after basketball, this is what I decided to do,
Yeah.
and I'm really interested in it, but, like, I don't know, like, I'm looking it up to see if I can find it. Um, I found, like, a definition of day trader. In the Bachelor Reddit 6 months ago, someone said, "Is he unemployed?"
Yeah, that's a day trader is it's unemployed with a crippling gambling addiction. That's what a day
Right, it's
trader is.
I mean, it's like, it's not for me. Personally, it's not
Yeah.
for me. To me, that's like that's a hobby that you do with money that you can afford to lose. It's a very
Yeah.
expensive hobby that
It's not a
I would not
job.
engage in, you know?
And he'd probably
Um
say something like, "Well, I'm self-employed and I make my own schedule." It's like, no, you could say the same thing if you were a serial killer. It doesn't make it a
Right.
real job. It's just a
I'm
hobby.
self-employed and I make my own schedule, but I make money.
Yeah.
Instead of losing it. For some reason, you also reminded me of the game that I gotta add to my Steam list, and that's Life Eater because I just watched Markiplier play it, and it's about a serial killer,
Hey, there you go.
who's like, "I need to do this or the world will end," which is
Serial
a really
killers, the day traders of murder.
right, exactly. But what he does is he he stalks people and then he like builds their schedule. So maybe he should follow Grant and tell us what
Mhm.
Grant's doing during the day.
That'd be great.
Um yeah, I mean, I'm curious because yeah, I'm just not sure. Like someone said he's probably going to make 100,000 as the lead and turn to influencing after the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%, yeah, that's
Hopefully
what
he
he's gonna
doesn't blow
do.
it on bad trades. Yeah, I mean,
No.
that's the thing, it's like and that's fine, listen, to each their own. Some people really like I mean, I have friends who, who gamble.
Mhm.
Um, and like we talked about Vince Van Patten like last week or the week before, I don't know. And it's, that's a real job, but it's also like it's a risky job. But he mentioned that. He kind of mentioned that like it's a risky
Yeah.
job. But I haven't like looked up yeah, like, what he does exactly, and I kinda thought this date would tell us more, so that's the only thing, it's like, it could have told us more, but instead, they're like,
Mhm.
"We're gonna turn it into, like, yeah, it's like, who can tell the most jokes and be the most interesting on the date?" And then oh, by the way, have you ever been in one of those, like, money things and, like, grabbed a bunch of dollars,
I
like,
have
with a
not,
win
but
thing?
it is a dream of mine to one day be in that position.
I wanna say Fun World had one or something like that. I can't remember. There was some, like, not amusement park, what would you call it? Like, arcade,
Mhm.
arcadey adventure center, in southeastern Wisconsin that had one, but I
Mhm.
remember it cost, like, extra to get in there, and I was just like, "Oh, I don't know." But I've never done it, and I've always wanted to do it because I feel like I would be good because I feel like not enough people just hang out on the floor.
Yeah.
That's where all the money is.
That's where the money
I'm
is, it's
like,
true.
"You're not being strategic, like, it's all piled up around your feet. You just get low to the ground and then, like, gather as much as you can from the ground."
Yeah, I would simply squat on the vent with the fan shooting and then just grab all the money as it floats down to me.
Right,
Cheating. You
exactly.
gotta cheat, that's the way to do it.
Oh, it's
Uh
funny, this life oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, so, I mean, they're all collecting these grant bucks, and it was fun to watch some people like, "Oh, we're not supposed to answer these questions in a real way, we're just supposed to be fun." Like, that was a big revelation for a lot of folks, and then
Yeah.
they're grabbing all the money, uh, and then, of course, it's like, what do these wonderful grant bucks buy? And you would think, well, I mean, this is The Bachelor. It could be anything, a luxurious date somewhere. No, no, it's just a bunch of, oh, 500 Grant bucks for a smooch on the cheek from Grant.
His shirt.
Oh, you do get his shirt. So
Yeah, you
that's
get his shirt. But
a
yeah, again,
Hanes undershirt that comes in a 3-pack for 15 bucks. Great.
they're like, "Paris, 3,000,000, dream on." Like,
Yeah.
if they should have made that within reach, if they
Mhm.
weren't broke.
Yeah.
That's what
So,
I'm
like,
saying.
as a fiat currency, then, like, what is the Grant buck? Like, is it's tracking alongside the yen in terms of its value? Like, what?
I mean, even calling it a fiat currency is pretty generous.
I mean, it's backed by the government of ABC.
I
Come on,
think
like,
it I think it's a physical manifestation of of a blockchain currency.
We should ask Daytrader Grant about it.
Yeah, we should, cause yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm curious what I'm trying to look it up. So far, I can't find anything, so that's cryptic.
Mhm.
Um, we gotta see if he's got a LinkedIn. I don't know if he does.
It's 'cause
So
he's
far
unemployed. He's 100% unemployed, like, there's no
yeah, I mean, but, wasn't it Teresa on The Golden Bachelor who also did day trading? But she kinda turned that into a career, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Sounds like she was good at it. So maybe he's good at it.
Maybe he's good at gambling. We don't know. It's
I don't
possible.
know. I don't know. You know what's
Wow.
funny? Well, because they put on that TikTok song, "I'm looking for a man in finance with a trust fund." I mean, I was there when that whole thing
Mhm.
evolved, which was interesting, but that's almost a year old now, so it feels
No, and they were talking
very
about, yeah,
old-fashioned.
'cause they played the "Looking for a Man in Finance" song, and then they were also talking about, like, girl math, which are both, like,
Yeah.
memes from a year ago,
Now,
so
I do love girl math anyway, but, especially that one
Mhm.
did I ever talk about it? I don't know. There was, like, an Australian podcast where they brought on, like, an economist, and he was like, "Girl math is real, and it's also, like, based on real economics." Like, if because he's like, like I bought this, right? And this
Mhm.
is not cheap. New works is expensive. You want to buy it new, it's going to be like a couple $100 for a
Damn.
piece. Like it's not cheap. Now I did get this with a gift card. So I didn't
Mhm.
have to pay as much for it. And so that also feels free, right? But he said, if you're buying something like for a special occasion or you buy like a nice piece of clothing, but you're going to wear it a lot, then the price per wear goes down. That's like a basic economic principle versus like
Yeah.
if you buy something from like Shein and it's going to fall apart after two wears or not be fashionable anymore.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like I don't buy that many clothes during the year. A lot of what I buy is like stuff like New Works. Um, but then I wear it all the time.
Mhm.
And I try to find ways to kind of like mix it up and it's kind of got a cult following and so people in the group will like exchange with each other so when you kind of get tired with what you got you exchange it with somebody else so then you're not spending like extra money
Mhm.
and that's yeah he was like no that those are like real girl math is just that's math that's like
Yeah, it's just regular
economics
math.
like you think about yeah if you buy something that's disposable or you buy something and only use it one time and the resale value goes down versus like you buy it and you sell it quickly like he's like that's just like real math and I was like so vindicated anyway but yeah it was funny because Grant's like well I am in finance. I do not have a trust fund. I'm 6'4" and not 6'5", and I do not have blue eyes, but I do have brown eyes. So I match one out of the four
Yeah,
criteria from the
he's got one
song.
of those. Sure, yeah, it's
He's like,
fine.
"So just so you know." But yeah, anyway, so the founder of Kind Snacks was on there
Yeah.
and the power suits actually looked pretty good. On the rack, I thought they were gonna look kind of like formless, but they actually looked really cute.
Yeah.
Um,
I was kinda hoping for, like, more like a working girl look with,
yeah,
like, the shoulder
with the big
pads and
shoulder
everything.
pads, yeah.
Yeah.
But Parisa looked cute. They all looked cute. What I was gonna say is Parisa was like, "I'm gonna sit right next to Grant because she's smart."
Yeah. These
And
girls
then
are so bad at the game. This is
yeah,
like I mean, I've been saying this for the past 3 weeks or whatever, but, like, the fact that they're all just like, "There's, social, rules that are unsaid, and we don't wanna, like, ruffle the
yeah.
feathers of the other contestants, ergo, none of us will sit next to him." Why? You're trying to win.
Right. I
Come
mean, that's
on.
well, and okay, and then we also see that again, Zoe is not that good at the game. Like you can't accuse Zoe of being strategic or manipulative or
No.
evil or anything like that because she's not doing anything in a smart way. So like the one person who did something smart was Parisa and Bailey also. Bailey was really smart because she was like,
Mhm.
I'm not answering these for Grant. I'm answering these for Hannah because she's the one giving out the bucks,
Yeah.
and if I make her laugh because Hannah's just going, "Ha ha ha, ooh, gonna write that down for later," allegedly.
Mhm.
Um, there are documented, tweets that she's stolen from smaller account. Anyway,
Oh,
um,
fun.
allegedly,
Allegedly, allegedly.
there's a reason she grinds my gears. Um so yeah, but Bailey's like, "If I make her laugh, I will win," and she
Yeah.
did it, and that was smart. But then Zoe's, like, upset because she's like, "Well, that's not a good rule." I like rules, and I don't understand why I was answering the questions genuinely,
Yeah.
so what the hell? And I'm like,
Who
"See if
said
sh"
butt plug? That's what I wanna know.
Wait, who answered that?
It's like, "What's the naughtiest thing you've ever bought?" And, like, people were just like, "Oh, I wrote censored. I wrote I'll never tell." And then somebody just wrote butt plug, which I
Who
thought
wrote
was
that? I
awesome.
can't remember. I saw that, but I
Yeah.
can't remember who wrote that. But anyway, yeah, Zoe was, like, really upset, and that's the thing, it's like she's not strategic because if she was, then she would have answered the questions the way Bailey did. So, people are, like, putting things on Zoe that just, like, don't exist.
Mhm.
She's just I think she's just, like, approaching the show in a genuine way
Yeah.
and doing what she feels like is right in the moment, but I don't think she, like, thinks that far ahead.
Yeah.
Um, but
People are
anyway,
so mad at Zoe too, like, on the
yeah.
internet, they're just like, "Oh, Zoe, what's she doing?" It's like, "C
I
come
don't get it.
on."
Like, I think she's just one of those women who, like, feels a lot of pressure being on
Mhm.
the show, and it's too much, and maybe there's digestive issues going on, so, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? I think it's just all coming at a fever pitch. I just keep thinking about Courtney's book now. I'm just like, anytime someone's crying,
Yes.
like well, and also, like, Zoe, I think, did have a little bit more to drink than maybe she should have, just saying,
Mhm.
and that just makes you emotional, so it's like, maybe if you had a little like, 1 extra martini and you haven't pooped, like, I don't know, I'd be crying too. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's
Yeah.
fair.
I would definitely be
So
crying.
yeah, I mean, she was just like she was kinda, like, not holding it together on that date at all. Here's how I would have wanted to see the date go. Do you re this is so random. Do you remember the video game Daytrader? Have you ever heard of that game?
No.
So, okay, let me see. So there was a video game that I played when I was like a kid, which is so weird. And it was
Mhm.
called Daytrader. It was like, yeah, like a 2001 game. And you literally pretend to be like a day trader. And I never understood how that game worked. And I never did well at it. And I would just be like,
Just like the
pay
real thing.
spies. Exactly. I'd be like, pay spies, like to tell me what to do. Oh my God. Oh my God. This picture is taking me back. There's like one PC version available. It's like, oh God. Oh my God. I gotta see if I can share one of these photos in the like in the description or something. I'm finding some on eBay. It was like this Wall Street simulator. It was not fun. It was not a fun game. Like Airline Tycoon was a fun game.
Mhm.
Day Trader was not fun. I never figured it out. I never won. And I always just like paid spies to tell me like when stocks would do well. And then that still wouldn't work. And I was like, this game sucks. And I'd just give up and then I would quit, and then, like, a week later, I'd be like, "Maybe I'll try Daytrader again," and then I'd play it, and I'm like, "I hate this game. This game is the worst." It was like I was in, like, elementary school or middle school when I got it. I don't remember if my dad bought it or, like, I saw it somewhere at, like, Menards or something and was like, "Let's try this game." But
Mhm.
it was so bad. But I wish that they had played that Day Trader game from like 2000 or whatever. And they're like, you
Yeah.
have to play this game and see if you like it. And they'd all do bad, and then I would be vindicated because that game sucks. So that's what I would have wanted to see, and I didn't see that, and that was too bad. The women after the date, again, Parisa, strategic. She's like, we're gonna play Chubby Bunny. And I was
Mhm.
like, that game's always fun. Okay. We
It's a
can
good
play
one.
Chubby Bunny. It's a good classic game, and funny wins over, like, flirty basically every time on the show. If you
Mhm.
can make the bachelor or bachelorette laugh, that's usually a good sign that you're gonna do well. So she's like, "I'm gonna go all in on the laughs." Um, yeah, Zoe is like, everybody was, like, bubbly and fun, and I'm, like, drowning, and this is, like, not good." And Seraphina's like, why would she even say that? Because she got, like, so much time before, so this is, like, really funny that Zoe's like, "Why don't I have any time now? Come on." And Allie Joe is like, "Are we really gonna do this again?" You know? And I'm like, "Zoe, you asked her how she was doing. This is
Yeah.
how I saw it. You were like, "Zoe, how are you doing?" And she was like, "I'm not doing well." And they're like, "How dare she say she's not doing well?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"You asked. She
She's
told you."
pretty. She is doing just fine. But let me tell you, she's not doing fine. Must be a little cold because her dress is the shortest
This
thing
is
I've
what I
ever
was gonna say.
seen.
What the hell was up with that? Like, that was not okay, okay?
Yeah,
Like, Serafina's like, "Oh, by the way, her dress is, like, really short." I'm like, "Is
yeah.
that necessary?"
I'm sorry, if I look like Zoe, I would just walk around naked all day. Like, why? Who cares? Who cares?
I'm just like, that is so unnecessary. Like, let's not, unless you're talking about how pretty someone's
Yeah,
dress is, let's not comment on, like, how short it is. Let's not talk about other women's
yeah.
bodies.
Was it
Let's
really
not do
that
that.
short anyways? Because she literally like the shortest dress I've ever seen. I didn't even notice it was that short until she
I
called it. I was
didn't
like,
either.
"Eh, it's a
No,
little short
that's what I'm
for
saying.
her."
I think that's like pulling straws. I think Zoe has really long legs.
Mhm.
So I think you
Yep.
just I think it's just like an optical illusion that you think her dress is so short.
Mhm.
But I was just like, that's like an unnecessary jab. But we'll talk about the next day in a minute because it does add a wrinkle to it. But from what we can see on this date, it's just like you asked her how she was doing. She said
Mhm.
not good, and then you're like, well, her dress is too short. I'm like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah, what are we doing
And
here? Stop
listen,
mean girling.
Chloe, my favorite, may she rest. No, she's not really dead. Just on the show. But she pulled like she is obviously like siding with Zoe. The Oes are still hanging out,
Mhm.
and so I don't know. I'm just like Chloe seems like such a chill, nice person. I have a hard time believing that she would be like buddy buddy with someone who's like that much of a problem.
Oh,
I
sure, yeah.
really think she just can't handle the show. I don't think
Mhm.
it's like be anything bigger than that. And then she tells Grant, and again, I was a little nervous about this because I'm like, it's kind of early for you to say something like that, you
Mhm.
know, like from your own like self-preservation perspective. I'm like, it's a little early. This could blow up in your face, you know, but I get why you want to say something. And she was just like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm being ganged up on. And like, you know, one of the girls said my dress was too short. And he's like, who? And she's like, I don't want to name names. It's like not about that. It's more just like it
Mhm.
makes me feel uncomfortable and like I can't have a good time. And he's like, well, forget about that. Like just be yourself and like please
Yeah.
women, you know, whatever. And I don't think that that's bad to say that. And I think, like I said, I think it's a little early to say something like that because sometimes it can blow up in your face. But
Mhm.
I think she said it the right way. She
Yeah,
phrased it.
shout out to these girls for causing unnecessary drama with each other,
Yeah.
but they're not snitching because we have 2 major conflicts on this episode, but nobody's snitching.
Yeah.
Although with the
She's like,
second one, Grant's like she's like, "I don't wanna say," and Grant's like, "Was it this person? Was it this person? Was it this person?"
and she's like, who, how many people did you tell this to? But
And then Grant
we'll
walks
get
in, he's
there.
like, "Through the process of deduction, I figured out who it
It's
was."
Rose. Yeah, it's like because she said no to every other woman. Like,
Yeah,
okay. But yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, that was but she was like smart about it because if she had
mhm,
named names, it would have been a lot worse.
yeah,
And then okay, then we see like Grant and Juliana. Whoa, I feel like I shouldn't be watching. When they're on screen together, I'm like, this is none of my business. Um
right?
but that's what I'm saying. Fun wins over flirty because Parisa gets the rose.
Mhm,
Fun wins most of the time. If you're like fun and entertaining and you make them laugh, like that usually bodes well for you. Um so then okay, so then Grant puts down not what I would call like a bombshell at all. He was
mhm,
just like we have to be kind to each other, okay? And for some reason, because maybe they haven't pooped yet, I don't know.
it's
Tell
possible.
me, women. You just tell me.
Yeah,
They all spiral. Like,
no,
in the next morning, everybody's crying.
yep.
Nobody's dreaming about teeth getting pulled out or penguins imprinting on them. Everybody's crying.
You know what? When you
And
can't process your bowels, you can't process your emotions either.
that's
It's
true.
hard.
Well, that's the gut brain connection. So
Yeah.
there you go. I've
See?
learned all
See?
about it. Anyway, so we know so much about it. Just kidding, we don't. So and then Alex Alex is hugging a llama. Which is so great.
Mhm.
She's like hugging this llama stuffed animal, and she's like, "We're all trying to be friends with her, and she won't be friends with us, and it's so hard." I asked her about her pageants to me.
It was,
We
like,
are
seriously,
trying.
like you ever see someone and they're, like, completely hysterical and y you just wanna be like, "Listen, I understand that, like, you're going through it, but also I'm gonna need you to, like, take a step
I
back
can't
here."
hear what you're saying. I wanna be
Yes.
able to hear. She was just like, I asked her about pageants, and
Uh,
she won't talk to me, and I was like, "Is this is interesting?" And then, you know, Yeah, I asked her about her pants, this was my favorite part, but they're just like, "We're trying to be friends with her. I don't know what's happening. I don't know." Like, I really think he was just like, "We need to be kind to each other." Like, that's all he
Mhm.
said. She didn't say enough to throw any of you under the bus, and you're all, like, freaking out for yeah, I feel like no reason, and I do feel like people are being mean to Zoe for no reason, but that's what I see. I'm just like, I don't think she's done anything so egregious that you're getting upset, like, makes
Mhm.
any sense, you know? Allie Joe, you have put in -10 effort,
Yeah.
when it comes to pulling Grant. You've never tried you're just complaining about other women who do it, and you don't do it yourself. For a
Mhm.
boxer, you really lack initiative. Are you always on the defense? What's going on? It's like not you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She, like, acts like she's this confrontational person, but I'm like, "But you're not actually initiating anything. You're
No.
not assertive at all." Like, you have to be to, like, get somewhere on this show.
Mhm.
So you messed up big time. These other women are like there's a few women who are trying to play the game, like Bailey, like Parisa, like Carolina we'll talk about. But you're not well, I don't know if Carolina's really I feel like Carolina and Zoe might be in the same category, but we'll see. Um, but you're
Carolina
not like
just wants to make out with Grant, like,
yeah,
that's
I don't
which
know.
is,
I
that's
think
fine.
she's also, like, got some insecurities like Zoe does. Like, I don't think
Mhm.
either of them are evil or bad or anything like that. Anyway, so but here's the yeah, private jet, to Vegas date with Carolina, and she's like, "We should just get married here." And he was like, "Oh, okay. Sounds kinda fun." And they do, like, Polaroids, Paraloids on the
Paraloid.
on the plane. And then they do that, like, strat jump thing, which I've wanted to do, and I haven't done it in Vegas, but that's been on my list of things I wanna do is jump off that thing because it
Yeah.
looks fun.
It does look fun. If I'm gonna jump off a building in Las Vegas, that's the one to do it, I think. It's
Yeah, it just seems like I mean, out of, like, the thrill dates and the jumping and all of that, that one always seemed, like, not that scary to me, and,
yeah.
like, I could totally do it. And so I thought it was cute that they did it at least twice, like, that was
Mhm.
fun. They're just like, "Yeah, let's go do it again," and then they, like, did their, like, whatever shit. But I
Is that
I
the
thought
Rizzler face? Is that
I thought it was before that. I thought that happened before that.
pre-Rizzler?
Yeah, I think it's free Rizzler, but anyway, I don't know. I'm old and out of touch, so what do I know? But yeah, like they do this. It's like 800 feet or whatever. But I love before they do it. Carolina's like, I can't remember what she said. She jumped off of like the bleachers at gym or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
like,
She's like, "Previously, that was the biggest thing I jumped off
yeah,
of."
she's like, "And my ankle hurt a little bit," and then I went, "I'm never doing that again."
That's
Which I
fine.
thought was, like, a very funny thing to say. But yeah, like, yeah, it's like it was like a thrill date, but neither one of them was that scared. They were both just kinda like, "Ooh, I'm a little nervous," and then they're like, "Oh, that was fun. Let's go do it again. That was kinda cool." And then they go to dinner, and Carolina's like, "I have something to admit." And I didn't know what to expect. I guess I didn't expect epilepsy. I was kind of surprised.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, but I mean, I totally get, like, when she's like, "Yeah, it's something that not everybody signs up for. It can be
Mhm.
scary. I've lost friends and I've been with people who didn't want to have that level of commitment, and so she's afraid that someone won't hang again."
That's so fucked up. Like,
Yeah, like
who are you hanging out
exactly,
with?
exactly. I'm like, "What kind of like, your friends suck."
Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't be your
I can't
friends
even,
anymore.
like, fathom. Like, if you were like, "Steve, I have to tell you something. I have epilepsy." I'd be like, "That sucks. I'm sorry." It would not have any bearing on our
Yeah, I'd
friendship,
be
but
like,
could
"What?"
you imagine me going like, "That sucks, and it sucks so much, but it also sucks for me as your friend,
Yeah.
ergo, I'm not gonna be your
'Cause
friend."
I don't wanna go to the movies with you. I mean, first of all, like, photosensitive epilepsy, this is I'm not a doctor, but I did work on an epilepsy app, for a client before, and I learned when I was writing content for it that photosensitive epilepsy is actually not super common.
Mhm.
A lot of the times and now I'm trying to remember, like, triggers usually come from, like, not sleeping enough, not eating enough or hydrating enough, or, like, eating some people have, like, trigger foods or trigger scents or things like that. And that's like more common than like photosensitivity. But one of the reasons that like, rides and movies and things like that have a warning for that is because like then it's avoidable if you know that
Yeah.
it's coming and it's something that does particularly like bother you or can trigger a seizure, then you can decide whether you want to go it or not.
Mhm.
But I think that leads to a misconception that people think that that's like a really common like trigger for
Yeah.
seizures. So I was like so sad when she was like, yeah, they wouldn't like go to concerts with, and she's like, and I can go to concerts. I just have to like rest the next day. I'm like, so then that doesn't change the
No.
experience for them in any way.
It's like, apparently all of your friends and all the men that you have dated are dickheads. I don't know what else to
Yeah, and it's like, and if
say.
they wanna go to a concert with you and you need to rest the next day, I don't know, if they're, like, good friends, maybe they'll bring you something, like,
Yeah.
cozy so
They're
you
like,
don't have to go
"Wait,
anywhere.
you can go to the Eras tour, but you can't brunch the next morning? I'm sorry, you're out of the friendship group."
Yeah, it's like
What is
"Okay,
that?
well, then we'll all do, like, a sleepover and have, like, a chill day and, whatever, and, like, have this fun time together, like, taking it easy," but they're like, "Yeah, I don't have 2 vacation days, only 1, so we're not doing
Mm,
that." I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Yeah, it was just so weird.
how
Anyway, I
strange.
feel really bad for her, like, that she had to deal with that, but,
Yeah.
there's better people coming in your life, I'm sure, 'cause once you deal with that, it's like, forget it. But yeah, Grant was like, "Yeah, that's messed up. I wouldn't do that," and I believe him. And he's like, "Yeah, I what?" Like, I think he was as
It's
surprised as
weird.
we was. He was like, "That's awful. I like you. That doesn't bother me. Like, it's just good to know.
Yeah.
Would you like the rose?" And she was like, "Yes." Um, then we find out that Beverly is MIA. Do you know what happened? I know what happened.
I
Did you
do know
find
what
out?
happened. Exploding appendix.
Yes.
Always fun.
Twinsies,
Oh,
twinsies,
that was my
appendectomy twinsies.
that was, like, the best Christmas I've ever had. So, this was not this past year, but the year before. I don't always go home to Michigan for Christmas, but 2 years ago I did, and, my mom was all excited because all her kids were gonna be there and her grandkids and all this stuff, and then my sister's appendix just fucking, like, ruptures.
Yeah, it's so
So then,
scary.
we have all these pictures of us on Christmas Day, we're in the hospital, there's no one there. There's, like, a one receptionist, one nurse, one doctor,
Sure.
whole hospital to ourselves. We're all just like, "Hey,
Merry
Christmas!"
Christmas. Yeah, I had an appendectomy at 14. I don't know if I've told this story before. I feel like I did.
Was this before or after you went to Denver?
This was before no, after before.
Before.
I think it was before Denver.
BD? Before
Yeah, I
Denver?
think it was before, well, no, I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was after Denver. I don't know. Mom, do you remember if it was before or after Denver? Report back. I will let people know. I know that I was 14. But it was like November. And then we went to Denver in like June.
Mhm.
Think Denver came after. So maybe I was 15 in Denver. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. Um, I think that's what it was. But anyway, so I was dating this guy because, yeah, I was dating this guy. I didn't really like him. And I kind of wanted to
Mhm.
break up with him. He was like, had really sweaty hands. And he, like, his friend asked me out on his behalf
Mm.
through AOL Instant Messenger. That's
Nice.
fine.
This is extremely early 2000s core. Good
Yeah,
job.
exactly. I know I was 14 for this, but maybe I was 15 for the trip. I don't know. You know what I mean? All those
Mhm.
ages like blur when you're a kid. But
Old sweaty
anyways,
palms. Were you on a date with sweaty palms when your appendix exploded?
no, this is what happened. I was, like, not feeling well, and I remember, like, I was in gym class, I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, I don't know, just feeling kinda sick and pain,
Mhm.
whatever, and so, like, I didn't wanna deal with, like, breaking up right then because, like, I felt gross and
Yeah.
bad, and I
Sure.
didn't know what it was, and so I, like, started avoiding him in the hallways, and so then he called me and was like, "You have to tell me what's happening right now." And I'm like in pain at home, and I had to break up with him on the phone, and it took
Mm.
2 hours, and I was like, "Can we please talk about this, like, in person? Can we talk about it some other time?" And he was like, "No, we have to talk about it now." And I was just
You're
like,
14,
"Okay, fine."
sir.
I was like, "Fine, okay, this isn't working." Like, and I'm crying, but I'm crying because I'm in pain, and I
Yeah.
wanna be off the phone, and I, like, do not wanna talk to this man anymore. And the next day, I was, like, even
Man.
sicker. He was 14 also.
This literal
Uh
child.
this little girl child. I was like, I do
Yeah.
not want to talk to this man. And I was like really feeling awful, and I mean, like, and trigger warning, I know, I was, like, projectile vomiting, like, you know what I mean? And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
but I felt fine outside of that, but I was just like, "I am not okay." And my mom was like, "Maybe it's cramps." And I was like, "I don't think this is cramps." And, we
Yeah.
went to, like, urgent care, and they're like, "Maybe it's a kidney infection." And I was like, "Okay." And then I went to, like, the emergency room. I think I did a doctor's office, then urgent care, then the emergency room. Honestly, it's all a blur because I was not okay at this point. I could not even get out of the car, and my mom had to go get, like, a wheelchair for me, which she was like, "Drama queen." And I was like, "Okay." And we get in and they're like, okay, I had to drink like that barium stuff, for like imaging. And then
Gross, yeah.
somehow they figured out though before I don't remember doing the imaging. I just remember them going, "Your appendix is perforated and it's about to burst." And so they're like, "Here's some morphine." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And my mom was like, "Morphine?" And they're like, "She's going into surgery in like 30 minutes." And I was like, "Bye." And then I woke up and I'm like eating ice chips or whatever, and I was like, "What time is it?" And they're like, and this was Saturday, and they're
Mhm.
like 7 p.m. And I was like, "Oh, time for The Simpsons. Roll me upstairs," because it was syndicated at 7. It was like 6 on the weekdays and 7 on Saturdays. So I was like, "Let's go watch The Simpsons." So I got up to my hospital room and I got to watch The Simpsons first thing. And my ex-boyfriend told everybody
Ugh.
that I was afraid to show my face because he dumped me
Wow.
and I'm in the hospital. And this was like,
Because he dumped you. You're in the hospital because he dumped you.
no, he told people that I was, like, afraid to show my face at school because he dumped me and I was embarrassed. And I was like, "Oh my god." And so, and this was, like, before, because 'cause I'm guessing your sister got that little, like, pinhole, like,
Yeah, yeah,
surgery.
yeah. The
Like,
laparoscopic one or whatever,
yeah, it's, like,
yeah.
amazing. I'm sure that's what Beverly got too. This was, like, when they still would do, like, a full incision,
Mhm.
but they had, like, the dissolvable stitches or whatever, so it was, like, a little high tech, but not that high tech. And so I called my ex-boyfriend, and again, this could all be morphine, but this is what I remember. I called my ex-boyfriend and left a message on his home phone, and I was like, "I heard that you said that you dumped me and you were afraid that I was afraid to show my face at school. Well, I'm in the hospital. I just got my appendix removed." And I just, like, let him have it. This is what I remember. Again, I also thought my grandparents came to visit. My mom's like, "They did not come to visit." But I believe this part of the story is true, and it's funny because years later, we connected on Facebook. This was, like, after college or whatever, and we were like,
Mhm.
"Wow, we were, like, silly kids." You know what I mean? Like, "Aha, it's so funny, no hard feelings," but anyway. So remember when I was like, "We're gonna keep this short," and I'm like, "So when I had an appendectomy."
Well, I had an appendectomy, yeah. That's okay, we're cruising towards the end. We
Yeah,
really
that's
have, like,
true.
one major beat here that we need to cover,
Yeah.
which is the Rose situation,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, so let me just make sure there's nothing else that I really wanted to cover. But yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting." I feel bad for Beverly when they were like, "She's really sick." I was like, "How are none of you the rest of you sick?" And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"Appendectomy, that makes
Yep,
sense."
yep.
Um, oh, well, what I will say is because she wasn't there, they decided to do this mini group date with Serafina, Latia, and Dina, and they go hang out at Vanderpump Dogs. Again, we talked about this last week. It is
Yeah.
so weird when rich people are like, "I care about dogs more than people." Like, and I am, like I said, such a
Mhm.
dog person, but I care about humans more.
Yeah, no, no, no. Rich people love this shit. They're all single
Yeah.
issue voters. It like their concerns are either like weird Republican tax policies that only
Yeah.
benefit them, or I like dogs more than human beings.
Have
Like if
you
they
watched
saw a homeless
Yeah.
person, they'd be like, ew, forever. But if they saw a stray dog, they would just like pick it up and
Yeah,
take
they'd
it
be
home.
like, "Oh, get your fleas and mange all over me." Um, did you watch Friends with Money yet?
No, I haven't
That's
watched
still
Friends
on
with
your
Money yet.
assignment list.
Still
Okay,
on my
anyway, because
assignment
I wanna
list.
know what you think. Anyway, so and you can send me an assignment too, because now I can watch media again. Um, but yeah, so Latia gets a little extra time on that date. We'll just say that. And then she gets to talk to her mom as a surprise, and she gets the rose, which is not surprising. But
Mhm,
then, okay, we get this complete raw deal at the very end. We get this like prom thing, and I'm like, yay, it's gonna be prom. It's gonna be so fun. They're all dressing up. We get
mhm.
our favorite Golden Bachelors back. I mean, it's like the greatest
Oh, the
hits.
All-Stars, baby.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And this is gonna be so fun. But instead of it being fun, We get like one promposal or
Yeah.
whatever. Dina does a promposal, which is
Which was
funny
so weird to me too,
because
because
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
"You're already at prom."
he invited you. You're there. Yeah, what are
Yeah.
you doing? Stop
And she's
being
like,
weird.
"I didn't think he expected me to do it." And I'm like, "No, why would he
Yeah,
expect it?
why would he
Because you're
expect you to
already at
do
prom."
that? That's so weird. Like, what if you were on a date and someone's just like, "Do you wanna go on a date?" It's like, "What the hell are we doing right now? What are
I'm
you?"
gonna do that next time I go on a date with Tuck. I'm gonna say, "Do you wanna go on
Yeah.
a date with me?" I've actually said, well, we're married, and sometimes I'll go, "Do you wanna marry me?" And he's
Like,
like, "You know,
again,
we're
like,
already married."
if we
And
weren't
I'm
right
like,
now, would you still be into it?
and he's like, Yes." And I was like, "Okay, that's the right answer. Anyway, continuing." So I guess maybe I'm like Dina. So I can't talk. Um, but yeah, one thing that I will say is, like, I feel like Grant is, like, testing the waters with Dina, and I think Dina may be too successful for Grant.
Yep,
That's my thought. I think
yep.
he's a little intimidated, and, and he's like, "Well, but do you know how to, like, take breaks though, right?" You
Mhm.
know? And she's like, "Oh, yeah, totally." She's like, "I mean, I do travel a lot. I spend a lot of time with my family. I do this and that, you know?" And I'm like, "I think Dina is, like, pretty far ahead of you."
Yeah.
Hard to say, but if I can't find information on your job, and I know Dina's a lawyer in
Mhm.
Chicago,
Yeah.
I don't know,
No. This
just
is
putting
that
that
would
out
never
there.
work. Although
Yeah.
maybe it'd be good for him. He could be like a house husband. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
I'm wondering, well, because it's kind of like it seemed like, I don't know, I'm probably putting thoughts into his brain or words in his mouth, but the way he asked the question to me was like him saying like, "Would you settle down?" And I'm like, in this dynamic, you'd be the one settling down probably, not her.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
she's not gonna do that.
No.
At least not for a long time. I think she really enjoys what she's doing. So I don't think that that's the dynamic that's going to happen.
Mhm.
But anyway, we'll see where that goes. But I was like, I don't think this dynamic makes sense. Um, and then, oh yeah, Zoe's made. Oh yeah, so Zoe was like, okay, now I'm ready to move on tonight, and I was like, okay, good, because there's another controversy coming. And Carolina's like, hey, Rose, hey, Grant, this is what happened with Rose. She told me that when I was dancing on stage with you, that it made you think of Rose. And and then Grant's like, "Rose, what do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, I thought I heard you say that, but
Mhm.
like if I was wrong, I own my words and I'm really sorry that I thought you said that."
Oh, she was, like, mortified too. Like, you could tell
Yeah,
she
she
was not
felt
playing a
bad.
game.
No,
And
she
this
felt
whole
sick.
thing feels like a total, like, just miscommunication. Because obviously, if you're talking to your gal pal at the Bachelor Mansion, you're not gonna be like, "Hey, so" I mean, maybe she's a mean girl. Rose doesn't seem like
I
that, and
don't
her
think
reaction
Rose
doesn't
she
seem like
doesn't
that.
strike me as like a mean girl.
Yeah, but the idea
Yeah.
that she would be like, "Oh, hey, just so you know, when you were dancing with Grant, he was thinking about me and this hot ass." Like, I don't think that happened.
No, I think she was like, "Oh, it was kinda weird." Like, I feel like if they talked about it, this is what I would assume is she would be like, "It's kinda weird. I don't really know why he said it that way." Like, she was trying to
Mhm.
make sense of it, or like, and then Carolina was like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know." Like, I feel like it might have been like, "Keep an eye out for weird
Yeah, or they were talking about
statements."
like, "Hey, that group date was hard because all of us suck at performing and blah blah blah, and you did such a great job, and it's hard to get one-on-one time with him, but it was sweet because he said he was thinking about me during the dancing thing, and or
Oh,
like
yeah,
just
and
like
then
that."
Carolina's like, "Oh, wait, when I was dancing?" And she,
Yeah,
like,
puts the 2
guessed her
together.
now, you sent me a TikTok that I actually
Mhm.
half watched because I hadn't watched the episode yet. So can you explain what that TikTok
Yes, so
explains? I'll
this is
share it in the
very
description.
interesting.
Yeah.
So Rose is obviously taken aback, when Grant confronts her because, Carolina's like, "Hey, this" excuse me. Carolina's like, "Hey, I heard this from someone and blah blah blah, and it really hurt my feelings. Is that true?" And Grant's like, "Who said that?" Blah, 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 blah. And he kind of figures out who did it, and then he gets Rose, and he's like, "Why would you say that? This is an assault on my character. I would never say that. That is so disrespectful to women." Well, rewind the tape, rewind
Yeah.
it, and basically what he says is, that, I mean, they're having a conversation, and he says, "Yeah, when we were all, dancing up there and blah blah blah, and I was still thinking about you and blah blah blah." And so it is what he said. It's
Yeah.
just I feel like there's some misinterpretation going on by all parties,
Yeah, I
basically.
think so too. Yeah. And
But the
so,
fact that
yeah.
he's like, I never said that at all, instead of like, this is not in the context of what I said, is interesting. Although it's
Yeah.
also possible that for him it was a throwaway
I think that's
comment.
what it was. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it was like, I don't know, someone who recently got confirmed in some,
Yeah.
major capacity saying very clearly false things all over the place purposefully and then
Hmm.
saying, I never said that. I don't know who I'm talking about, but just like hypothetically. And but this was more like, yeah, it felt more like, well, that doesn't square with my character. Like
Hmm.
I would never say something like that, which like he didn't say something like that, at least not that we have a clip of. He said something similar, but he didn't say that. So yeah, it's like everybody's upset about something that didn't really happen. So
Hmm.
it was just kind of weird. Yeah, so I think it's kind of a non-issue, but we'll see how far it goes. But here's the thing, Rose owned up to her words. Yeah, I think Carolina is probably misunderstanding. I don't think Rose takes it personally. We'll have to see next week. But then yeah, but then like Grant's the only one who was like, no, that didn't happen, like definitive, which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting because Carolina's like, why would you say something like that? And Rose is like,
Hmm.
I don't feel like that was exactly what I said. And then Grant's like, well, I didn't say that. So it's like, okay.
Pretty
All right.
serious.
So we'll see what actually goes on. Um but yeah, now the women are like upset cuz they're like this kind of took over the whole prom thing and I feel like we barely saw the men, we barely saw the fun and so that was
Hmm.
kind of disappointing to me. And Chloe's like, I ran out of time to spend with him and like I needed this time to spend with him, so I'm like worried about it and whatever and
Yeah.
I agree that that would suck. Um they all get the prom queen title, cute, whatever. But I was like, where is the dancing? Where is the fun? Where is the good
No
times? It
budget for
just,
that.
yeah, it was
Bachelor's
just
poor
like
now.
sad. They spent it all on the tiaras.
Kids,
And
we're gonna
so,
have to make some changes to the Bachelor. We're selling the mansion. We're gonna downsize.
yeah.
You're gonna
Well,
have
I
to go to
mean,
a different school.
yeah, that's why they brought in Hannah Burner and not an actual comedian. That's
Yes,
the thing.
exactly.
Chloe's like, I don't know exactly why she phrased it this way, but she was like, I think we need to engage in some critical thinking, which I thought was just really funny.
Yeah.
Justice for Chloe, because at the end we see that Zoe, Juliana, Alex, Dina, Natalie, Serafina, and Rose get the roses.
Hmm.
So some heavy hitters go home. Chloe and Bailey, and who cares about Allie Joe? All go home.
The
So
Jersey boxer. I want
I
to
don't
see her knock somebody out. She was.
That's what I'm saying. She acts like that. She's all bark and no bite, and she
Yeah.
doesn't do anything. She
I want
doesn't
her on Paradise.
initiate.
She's gonna scrap on Paradise
She'll
for
be on
sure.
Paradise for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm so sad. I really thought Chloe was gonna last longer, so I'm devastated. Really,
Hmm.
she was wonderful. Justice for Chloe. And next week though, they're going to Madrid, and there's gonna be even more crying.
Can't wait.
You thought there was a lot of crying? Guess what?
Oh,
There's gonna be more. Everybody's
everybody's
upset.
sobbing and just fighting bulls.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be so strange. Yeah, they'll be like,
Yeah.
"I want to have a blue, thing instead because I'm so sad. I don't want a red one."
I don't know. I mean, they don't have any money. Maybe they're gonna have to just like sit in their hotel room at the Radisson and read The Sun Also Rises or something. Like they can't afford to do real Spain stuff.
That's so sad. I mean, well, Spain's one of my fave places, so I'm excited to see them go there, but, yeah. Well, they're not in Barcelona, they're in Madrid. That should tell you something already.
Yeah.
No, I love Madrid. I actually love it, but, it's not as like, Barcelona's a little more shishi, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Madrid's a little more, like, real city. So, that's what they're trying to do. Um, yeah, any predictions? Any feelings about anything?
No, I mean, it's been kinda chaotic so far, and I genuinely don't know where we're headed to. Although I think there will be a lot of silly conflict. There's been no legitimate conflict. I
Yeah,
think this
no
this season
villains.
has no villains at
Mm-mm.
all. The budget is gone, so I'm curious to see what they do. I
Yeah.
It's completely open-ended from this point. I have no idea where we're headed.
Yeah, I also feel like I just do not get a read on who Grant likes the most. Like I
Mhm.
feel or like I'll feel like I do, and then I'll completely change my mind.
Yeah.
It'll be like, "Oh, he seems really connected with Latia," and then it's like, we didn't see her a lot on this episode until that, like, one
Yeah.
moment, and then it was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know." I don't feel like there's a lot of clear front runners, like, not
No.
even Zoe. I mean,
Carolina,
yeah.
maybe, but I mean, she could spiral out at any point, right?
Right,
Like
that's the thing. Carolina's the type of person who would just, like, leave. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in a week or 2 she's like, "I gotta go, this is too much." So and, like, I was so excited for Beverly, and then and for her to just, like, have like, lose her appendix, it's like, that
Yep.
was unexpected.
See you later, kid.
I really thought she was gonna, like, get somewhere, like, she seemed like a really strong contender, so and then I thought Bailey had a really good standing, and so then to see her get like, her go and Chloe, I was like, and there's so many other women I feel like you're not as connected to, like
Mhm.
Natalie, they had a moment, but we barely saw her.
Yeah.
And so when I saw him give it to, to Natalie, I was like kind of surprised. I thought it was Natalie's last week. So, and one thing I'll say about the rose ceremony is Alex's dress was the prettiest one.
Mhm.
They all looked really nice, but that yellow on Alex was so like I was like, whoa. So that was my favorite dress of the week. One more piece of news to share before we go to, did you hear about Tyler Cameron getting he's in hot water?
Uh-oh, what'd he do?
Said he didn't like the halftime show.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Does he like for like weird like Facebook uncle reasons, or he
Yeah, I
just
think
doesn't like
so. I
okay.
think so. Well, this is what I said to my husband. I said, "You want a litmus test for people who are problematic. If they tell you they didn't care for Black Panther, or they
Mhm.
didn't care for the halftime show."
Yeah.
I didn't
I
mince words, but I'll say on here, just like keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on
Mhm.
them. That to
I
me is suspicious.
I think yeah, because well, here's the thing. I thought Black Panther was just okay, but I don't like superhero movies that much, and
Yeah.
that's a reasonable thing. That doesn't matter. My favorite reaction though, because the Facebook dads are just like, you can't spell crap without rap. There's that.
Yeah.
Uh, my friend's dad, like, so she texted. She's like, "What did you think of Kendrick Lamar's halftime show?" Because like her and her son loved it, and he was just like, "Well." I don't know. I don't think it was really for me, but I looked up Kendrick Lamar and he like did all this research.
That's
He's like, he's so
there you
talented and
go.
he did this and this. I'm like,
Yes.
that's
He
fine. That's fine.
yeah.
But not because it's just like, I don't know. There was a lot of black men on stage and it made me uncomfortable.
Right.
That's a weird reason
Exactly.
not to like something, dude.
Exactly. He won a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So, what I'm saying is, yeah, either understand if you didn't care for it, admit, "You know what? Not everything's for me,"
Not
and
for
that's
me.
okay.
Yeah.
Or yeah, get interested. And,
Hmm.
I don't know, you never took, my former advisor's class, did you? Where we analyzed, Lupe Fiasco and, like
Oh, no,
yeah,
no,
you know what I'm
no.
talking about? No.
Yes.
That was great. That was a really fun class where we, like, listened to a lot of hip hop and, like, we analyzed the lyrics and we talked about, like, different political moments and different things and whatever,
Hmm.
and it's like, if you don't understand, yeah, like, that kinda thing, it's like either get interested and learn why it's relevant and important and why someone like Kendrick Lamar would win a Pulitzer Prize, or yeah, just shut the fuck up and say, like, it's
Hmm.
not for me. But if someone says, like, I didn't particularly care for the halftime show, I'm like, why? That's an that's
Curious about that. Can
interesting
we unpack this?
that you would say that. And then we get a clip of Joey and Kelsey at the Super Bowl, and Joey
Mhm.
is just like fully enjoying the halftime show. Joey
That's
and
right.
Kelsey are like really cementing themselves as being like the couple from Bachelor Nation, which is
Oh my gosh.
interesting.
Everybody on the internet right now, they're like, "Grant's fine, but he's not Joey."
And they're like, Joey and Kelsey are goals. They're couple goals, which, like, if they ever break up, the internet is going to fall
Well,
apart.
it's
It's going to be
over.
bad. And Jen also revealed finally that she's like with Sasha, which we knew,
Mhm.
but she
Duh.
like finally did like a Valentine's Day thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
which is
relationship
cute.
reveal. We love that.
Yeah,
That's
which
good.
is cute. There was also a dance that they did recently where, like, they're dancing around, like, in Sasha's house, I think, and he hands her a rose, and her reaction is pure PTSD. She, like, grabs it and she goes, "Whoa," and she throws it.
Just
She's like
tosses it.
she was like, "I did not expect him to give me a rose, and I did not expect my reaction." Like, it looks 100% genuine where she was like, "Get this fucking thing away from me."
Oh my god.
And I was like, "Oh, poor Jen. That was rough." Okay, one actual last thing. This is me as a toddler when I was, like,
Okay.
going on a slide and I'd go, "One more time, one more time." I'm making myself late, so it's fine. Uh, what was I gonna say? Now I lost it. Okay, maybe it's not
Mm,
important. I
mm.
don't remember anymore. Okay. Oh, let's show
And
the
that's
nails
how you
before we
end
go,
up.
because
Oh,
they're gonna
yeah.
be gone by next time. Wait, hold on. They're Valentine's Day nails.
Oh, nice. Look at
Yeah, they're,
that.
like, color blocked, and then this one's kinda like Powerpuff Girly. I don't know if you can tell, but I wanted to show it later in the episode because, that's as good as you're gonna get. Because when I show them like, I showed them around the same time apparently the last 2 weeks. So the
Mhm.
thumbnail, like, preview, like, when you, like, hover over a
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
video, it's just me going like
Going like
this.
this.
So it's both times, and so I'm like, "Okay, I gotta do it later." But next week we should have a Jilly box, or the week after, depending on what day it comes, and there's gonna be I'm gonna wanna open it, like, pretty immediately, so we're gonna try to make that
Nice.
happen. But until then, friends, I hope you did have a nice Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day or whatever you celebrate, and, I hope if it's, cold by you that it warms up soon.
That's so nice. And don't do needle drugs. It's not
Can
an
hurt your
appropriate
heart.
winter activity. Okay? Don't do it.
Yeah, it's bad for your heart, that's
Yeah,
what I was
bad
saying.
for your heart.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Think
exactly.
about yeah.
You know who did those for 10 years? RFK Jr. He did.